Welcome back to WikiHow, everyone. The last video I did on it was, dunno, not a clue. I'm saying that as if there was some remarkable thing about it. There wasn't. But it wasn't so universally underviewed that I wouldn't do another one. And so I feel like going back to WikiHow is important in this situation because this time I'm learning how to, allegedly, keep from being so easily offended. Now that's just me in a nutshell, right? I take offence at every word breathed by every single human being, and it ruins my life. Really, it's miserable, actually, and I can't stop it. So this is actually quite a serious and sad thing. Maybe this will help, and if it doesn't, I'll continue to have a miserable life. Being easily offended is a difficult habit to overcome. It usually indicates poor understanding of one's own emotions in favour of the strategy of trying to change the behaviour of others. But since we're all autonomous beings, we are only able to change ourselves. This includes how we understand and react to the world around us. A commitment to changing oneself rather than trying to force the changes we want to see in others is a valuable choice that requires humility and open-mindedness. If only other people are open-minded. Understanding the emotions behind taking offence is a chap who looks very much like the thinking emoji, but also sort of wants to pick his own nose. Consider your role as the offence taker. Oftentimes, taking offence is a choice. It's not. This means that our reactions to what we consider offensive should be the focus of change. If you're not sure whether or not you really are easily offended, take this test. Well, I mean, we could take this test, but I'm pretty sure I am. But let's do it anyway. Always, sometimes, frequently, sometimes, frequently, sometimes, frequently, always, absolutely, I mean like beyond always. If there was an option here, maybe, but I mean probably not. That's a pretty nasty thing to do, always. Oh, bollocks! No! Oh, I've reset it! My touchiness level is 68%, which is high. 68% doesn't strike me as high, but okay. Avoid the trap of thinking that you're a sensitive person and that taking offence is a hardwired part of your personality. You may indeed be very sensitive to outside influence. Most people are. But sensitivity is different from taking others' actions personally. And there's a poor person having a heart attack. That's... oh dear. Ask yourself what you're really responding to. Most often, being easily triggered involves letting lots of one's own assumptions colour, spelt incorrectly, perceptions of others. Unless the world really does revolve around you, it is just an assumption that others are acting out of hatred or disdain for you. So where do these assumptions come from? Examine your relationship with you. The easily bruised egos that result from feeling vulnerable and defensive usually mask fundamental insecurities and mistrust of self. Do you feel insecure about your identity or uncomfortable in your skin? No, but it is too hot. Are you finding what you feel inside out in the world in the form of an offensive comment or slight? Wait, what? Are you finding what you feel inside? I don't... what? Just because you have an intense experience of your feelings does not mean that people are being purposely malicious towards you. In fact, others can rarely tell when people around them are highly sensitive, even if they wanted to purposefully harm sensitive people. Another major trigger for taking offence is getting a flipping cold while talking. I had a whiff of an old bass inhaler just before I started and I've already got a cold. You know, I hate my body. It's horrible, right? Oh, whiffy. Oh, I'm a mint man now. Right, okay. Another major trigger for taking offence is that I've already got the sniff. Screw you. I'm gonna hit my nose until it stops. I'm just gonna... that doesn't help. Another major trigger for taking offence is seeing a behaviour or hearing a phrase that reminds us of a negative past experience. We make associations between certain actions and our hurt feelings or discomfort that emerged with them at the time. Even if the person doing it means no harm, just seeing the action may cause us to become defensive and feel victimised. It is important to remember that while an action may have carried a particular meaning at some part of the point, does not mean that this will always be the same in the future. For example, say while growing up, a school teacher scolded you for wearing a revealing shirt to school. Oh no, that is far too relatable. Me, I can't get my shirt off fast enough. Making you feel frightened and ashamed. Upon a current friend's neutral suggestion that you bring a sweater to wear over your... what's a halter top? Halt is the German for stop, right? So I can only assume that a halter top is a straitjacket. Lots of thinking emojis today. Recognise the role of your ideals. As humans, we all have basic emotional needs to feel connected, safe, purposeful, and attended to. Many of us are lucky enough to grow up with the expectation that other people will support our needs. While this expectation helps us to feel safe and trusting of others, it can backfire and create unrealistic ideals about how we should be treated. Do you work to manage your emotional needs or expect others to conform to your ideal way of being treated? What do you think? You pleb.
So, they said to me, just do growing strange.
Separate your feelings from the dictates of social norms. Sometimes it's easier to get offended if you see a socially acceptable opportunity to do so. If someone says something potentially offensive, question if you really do feel burned because their take is that important to you. You might just be martyring yourself to illuminate a faux pas or rude remark, just for the heck of it. What's this? No, there we go, that's the one. Oh, heck yeah. I'm just gonna say me. I don't need to qualify it. Lay out your values. Since there are appropriate times to make issue of something that happened, journal about your values to determine which problems you really consider worthwhile. This will make you better able to know what's worth raising a fuss about and what can be let go and forgotten about. Additionally, having a stronger sense of your own values will help you feel less threatened when they are challenged. Trusting your values makes others' opinions less important. I don't think that's true, you know.
The new video game craze sweeping the nation is Fortnite.
Talking yourself through your own feelings and using yourself as a springboard to consider alternative ways of thinking is an invaluable tool. You might develop little mantras to tell yourself, like everyone is doing the best they can to be compassionate. They're not though, human beings are awful. Or if each person doesn't prioritise her own needs, who will? I think that's true.
Oh, hey there. Have you
I gotta think of what I'm gonna, caption these people before I start speaking. Developing responses to avoid offence. Remain calm. Allow time to pass before responding to someone you feel is offending you. If you are too easily offended, it has probably become an automatic response for you. This means that there is no time between feeling offended and responding as if you've been hurt. So make time to pause and question whether or not you want to take offence. Now, I've thought about that one. If the emotions are running too high to just pause, try counting to 10 in your head. Learning and practicing mindfulness exercise regularly will make the step easy as oh, this is so American. Ugh. No offense to you Americans. I love you. Please don't unsubscribe. Mindfulness involves learning how to strategically detach from strong emotions so that more measured responses can be formulated. One mindfulness exercise is to spend time focusing on your breath. When you attend to the sensation of your breath coming and going, you gain a stronger sense that your breath stinks.
hey, Reggie.
Acknowledge the possible offence in order to let it go. When letting go of a habitual response like taking offence, there's no use trying to shut out your knee-jerk thoughts. Instead of ignoring what your mind is telling you, listen to it, yo. That way you can determine for yourself whether or not to pursue the offence and make a it's make a scene, not make a sense. I was fully ready for a rhyme. If someone says your haircut might not be the best style for you, your head might be screaming, oh no, she didn't. Okay, no, that's it. Give her a piece of your mind. Oh, Shadow, go. It's also important to see how angry you feel inside. For example, if you feel enraged, you may not want to respond humorously, since humour in your state might not be perceived as humour at all.
Hey, Reggie, that's actually wrong. Stop misinforming the beginners. Actually, Mother Cat isn't really that good.
Being certain of our interpretation of what a person means or where she is coming from can turn anything into offence. Consider great works of art. Their beauty comes from the possibility of many different interpretations. No interpretation is right, but each one has the power to make us feel differently. Imagine that an acquaintance just told you that they decided to stay instead of accepting your invitation to go together to an event. You may be tempted to make the snap judgment that the person could easily have done that because he thinks you've made bad choices about what events to attend. Or they don't like you. I mean, that's what I would have assumed. Yeah, this reminds me of anyone watches Game of Thrones, what Peter Baelish said about assuming that actually no, screw it. No one watches Game of Thrones. No one watches. That actually looks like my chair. No word of a lie. When we are anxious and full of energy, we tend to be less forgiving of mild offences. This is simply because we are looking for new material in the world to pounce on, or to attend to because, well, we can! ! Don't let habitual offence taking spring up and drain energy that can be put to better use, say, marvelling at how differently different people express their opinions. Why would I marvel at that? People are just arses!